This one super important principle could be keeping you sick. Check out this clip from the latest episode on the podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And in the comments, there's a link to the full episode. Let's take a look.
One barrier to healing can be unforgiveness. Not the only layer, but one barrier can definitely be unforgiveness. But if you ask people if they've forgiven someone or themselves, most of the time, at least in my experience, but most of the time, people will probably say, yeah, like, sure, I've forgiven them. And God really challenged me during that season of really deep healing of the many layers. And I know that you talk about this a bit, but the layers of forgiveness. And it was like, as an example, okay, you forgive such and such person, but do you really forgive them for the consequences of what that and how that affected your life? And it was like all these just deep layers of peeling off. And I was like, wow, I didn't really think about it that way. I guess I haven't processed that. So that was a really interesting process to me. Do you specifically find that when you're working and through your process of working with so many people that there's layers to that as well?
Yes, layers is one way to say it. Another way I would say the same thing is I knew I was supposed to forgive those leaders at that church because you're supposed to forgive. So intellectually, I forgave them. I consented to forgive intellectually. But I discovered that my heart, David said, my soul is like a child within me. That my heart lags behind my brain. It's slower to let go of, it's slower to let people in, and it's slower to forgive. So for me, since I'd forgiven intellectually because I knew I was supposed to, because I'm a Christian, I'm a pastor. In fact, I would say I believe this. I wouldn't have said this, but I believe this. Mature Christians just don't get angry. And I thought, and I was a pastor, I thought I was a mature Christian. Well, that's not, the Bible doesn't say mature Christians don't get angry. It says, be angry and sin not, Ephesians 4. When you get hurt, be honest about your hurt and your anger, and be honest speak truth, each one of you with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be angry, but don't let the sun go down in your anger. So I think much of what I end up doing to people is as I listen to them, the evidence is they should be angry about what happened to them. As I hear their story, it makes me angry at that person who harmed them as a child. But since they think they've already forgiven, I have to listen until their mouth exposes their heart. Like a man will say, I don't hate the bitch. Oh, did I say that? Yeah. But when you said I don't hate the bitch, you're calling your ex-wife a bitch. That doesn't mean your female dog that you love. It means a condescending. See, so that exposed your heart. And so it would say layers is one way, like the guy that hurt me and got my job. Now he's got a good salary. I had no salary. When I'd see a car drive by that reminded me of his car, I get, without consciously trying to be angry, I'd find myself angry again when I wasn't angry that morning. Now I just seen that car triggered being angry because, again, I was living with the consequences of his selfishness. Yeah. Like you said. So when we have to live with the consequences of somebody else's sin, then we have to forgive them again. So that guy that hurt me, here's something God taught me. For about 6 months, I could get triggered by something that was related to him or the consequences. And what I learned I had to do was when I felt the anger, oh, I'm feeling angry again. What is that? I had to open my mouth and say, I'll say his name is Fred. It wasn't Fred. In Jesus' name, I forgive Fred. I release him and bless me too.